What's going on, everybody? I'm Enrique Pinheiro, and welcome back to the Hawk Show Talk Show, a Seattle Seahawks podcast. You can find me on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and now Google Podcasts as well. And I also post highlights on TikTok and just posts and tweets on Instagram and Twitter. My on all these platforms is at Hawk Show Talk Show if you want to follow. And if you can't find it through that, you can also find my link tree, which I have in the description on nearly all these platforms. Today's episode, I'm going to be discussing Shaquem and Shaquill Griffin leaving the Seattle Seahawks. I'm calling it The Griffins Are Gone. And yeah, let's get right into it. Let's talk some Hawk. So last week, it was around, I think, day 2 of free agency. Shaquill Griffin signed a deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He signed a $44.5 million deal over 3 years, and that's about $14.8 million a year. So the Seahawks lose their starting cornerback 1, which to some is deemed as a big deal, but in my opinion, it's not a big deal. I wanted him gone. I was ready for him to leave. And we also lose his twin brother, the one with only one hand, Shaquem Griffin, who is a special teams guy mainly, and he would also come in for some blitzes every now and then, but he was not a starter on defense. Anyways, my reaction to this is I'm happy. I made it clear in my Resign or Walk episode that I thought it was good. I thought I was ready for Shaquill Griffin to leave because first of all, I knew he would get overpaid, and I still believe he got overpaid. Well, it's kind of hard because I feel like in this year in free agency, like every year, players get paid more and more. So I think just about every signing, people reacted saying, "Oh, overpaid, overpaid." But I really think this was an overpay by the Jaguars. I understand where they're coming from because they're trying to build this young team surrounding Trevor Lawrence, who they're going to take with the first overall pick. But I still think this was a massive overpay, and I'll get into that. I personally, I've made it clear that I do not think Shaquill Griffin's very good. I think he had a good 2019 season, no interceptions though, and then a bad, inconsistent 2020 season and the first 2 years of his career. I don't think we're very good, but I don't really blame him because I don't think any rookie or sophomore corner is really that good. Uh, Anyways, I'll get into it. So I got a lot of numbers from last season here in front of me. I'll start it off. He played 11 full games. That's games where he played, I think my cutoff was 60% of the snaps. I forget. I think it was around there. It's probably 60 or 70 though. So that's full games because I don't want to take into account like the first Cardinals game where he played like only the first quarter or whatever and say, oh, he only gave up 19 yards that game because obviously that doesn't count and that would like really skew the stats. So in his 11 full games, like maximum majority of the games played in those 11 games, he gave up 7 touchdowns, which is not good. And as I said before, a lot of the argument was that, oh, that was in the first half of the season where he gave up the majority of them. First of all, that's even worse because you gave up around 7 touchdowns. Let's say it was 5 in the first half of the season in even fewer games than 11. And then I know he might have gotten better as the season progressed, but the competition got much worse as the season progressed as we played the NFC East, the Jets, the Niners. He allowed 59.4 yards per game to the receiver he was on. So that's not awful because receivers are going to have good games. It's obvious. That's what receivers are meant for. But to be a corner paid as much as he's getting paid, that should not be the case. This is a little up for debate because a lot of people do not respect these ratings. It's a PFF rating of 64.1, which I agree. I think PFF can be very, very bad. Like they had last year Darrell Henderson as like the best running back in the league. They have Dante Foreman as like the greatest tailback of all time according to PFF. I don't trust PFF too much. But yeah, 64.1 is not a good rating if you take that into account. A 61.8% completion rate allowed when thrown to him. Not a good rate at all. Not a good percentage at all. And then speaking of passer rating, a 99.6 passer rating allowed when thrown to. So all these awful stats I've given you kind of explain it. And then another thing that I really don't like, but also that might just be our system, maybe the Jaguars will change it up, is that he doesn't shadow wide receiver ones. So we would have Trey Flowers or DJ Reed or Quentin Dunbar guarding DeAndre Hopkins or whoever it was, just their best wide receiver, while Shaquill Griffin's chilling on the wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3, depending on whoever's in the slot and stuff. So I'd see Shaquill Griffin getting beat by Josh Reynolds and Richie James Jr., which was, I don't, he's still getting beat, which was, well, I didn't find it shocking. Sorry, Shaquill. I don't think you're that good, but, you know, that's shocking. He should not be getting beat by that level of guys, and he shouldn't even be on those guys. He should be on the wide receiver ones on those teams. So I don't like that. But hopefully the Jaguars, they'll change it up. They'll have him shadow. I would respect him a lot more if he shadowed like that, but I don't know if I don't want to blame him for that completely. Anyways, back to the numbers. 3 years, 44.5 mil, 14.8 mil a year. That is crazy money. That's more than Tre'Davious White. That's more than Xavier Howard. And that's just almost more than Stephon Gilmore, Byron Jones, and James Bradbury. And everyone I named there, I would classify as an elite corner. Maybe Byron Jones, not so much. He had a bad year last year, but still, that's a lot of money for a guy coming off a not so great year. Again, I think Shaquille hasn't been very good in the past. I think he has a lot of room to grow because I like his build. Seahawks corner is always long, like lengthy, long arms and quick. I think he can be good. I just think he hasn't been good. So, I'm hoping the best for him. I think the Jaguars overpaid, but I know there's a lot of room for improvement with him. And honestly, I think he'll get it done. I think it changes series maybe what he needed. Then about Shaquem. I knew this would happen if Shaquille left. I didn't think they'd want to be separated because they're best friends, I guess. They're twin brothers. And it's good for him. He was a free agent because we cut him last offseason and then got him back on the practice squad. And there was a whole long process of that. But then he was a free agent, and I knew he was going to follow Shaquille to wherever he went. I bet Shaquille told the Jaguars he wouldn't sign unless his brother could come as well, and that's good. The Jaguars, I really like Shaquem. They got a really fast extra blitzer on plays. He doesn't necessarily have to be an extra blitzer. If he can improve, and I know it's kind of hard to block shit for him, but if he can improve at that and become solid, I think he could be good because he's really fast for the linebacker. Remember that amazing combine. The only thing is, I really hope that Shaquem in the future can make a name for himself in the NFL. I don't want him to go along as the guy who, you know, just like piggybacked his brother to wherever he went and like got a free ticket in because he had a brother. And I didn't think that was the case in Seattle. I think we all just really liked his combine, and also it's a good story. I understand that, but he proved that he was going to be a good player in the combine, and he was pretty solid for us. But I really hope that he can really establish himself in the NFL more instead of just following his brother wherever he goes. Anyways, I'm more sad about losing Shaquem because I think I liked him more. I liked just watching him play more. I was more content with him than I was with Shaquille. Well, it happens with every Seahawks corner, but I got very mad at often. But yeah, anyways, I don't think this is a big deal. I think the Seahawks will be completely fine. We've already signed Ahkello Witherspoon. We're looking at other guys like Sherman, hopefully. But yeah, Trey Flowers stepped up at the end of last season, especially in that second Cardinals game on Hopkins. And I think DJ Reed's a beast. I think the Seahawks will be okay. And Shaquem, I don't think is a big difference. We got plenty of blitzers. Anyways, that's all for today, guys. If you want me to mention or comment on anything in a future episode, discuss something, just you can either comment below or I have a submissions box, like a request box in my link tree on Microsoft Form if you want to ask or tell me anything. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, depending on what platform you're on. And yeah, thank you. Bye.